Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Lenz VO podcast. My name is Mike Lenz. I'm an entrepreneur and a full-time professional voice actor and audiobook narrator. My goal is to share with you stories from some of the most amazing and inspiring people from all areas of the voiceover industry to help you achieve your dream of becoming a professional voice actor. So please leave me a review over on iTunes and join us over on the web at mikelenzvopodcast.com to be notified of each episode when it comes out. Now, get ready to be inspired. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Lenz VO podcast. I am Mike Lenz, and today you're going to be hanging out with me. I'm going to be updating you on my journey, what's been going on, how 2021 was, how we finished up, and now we're heading into 2022 and some of the things that are on the horizon. So first, I just want to give you a quick update. 2021 was my best year ever, which I'm excited to say. Most of you know that I sold my brick and mortar pharmacy about 4 years ago and went full-time into VO, having done it in the margins for 10 years prior to that. And you know, the old adage that says, what you pay attention to grows certainly has applied for me, because being able to devote my full energy and attention to growing my VO and audiobook narration, podcast producing career has really paid off. And this was every year since I started. My revenue has grown, and this year was our best revenue year ever. So it was a lot of fun, did a lot of books. I think I did over 60 audiobooks and booked my first national commercial, which was exciting for Dick's Sporting Goods. So I got to hear my voice on television. Did a lot of e-learning projects, a lot of corporate video work as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that as I go forward, about some of the casting sites and the specific casting site that I've had success with this year. And also added a few more podcast producing clients that I've been working with and helping and doing some consulting in that area, as well as some audiobook consulting, helping some authors get their book over the finish line and get it actually recorded and up on all the Audible and all the other places, consulting with them and doing a little bit of narrating for them, but also just helping them understand the process, because a lot of authors, especially indie authors, don't necessarily understand the process of how they get their written word into audiobook form and then actually out to the world. So I'm finding that consulting piece of what I do has been a pretty important piece, and I'm starting to see that grow as well. So overall, really happy with 2021 and some of the progress that I made in a lot of different areas. So hopefully your 2021 was successful as well, and hopefully you made progress in at whatever point you are in your journey. So in 2022, I want to talk about some general concepts and then dig into some details. Some of the things that I've kind of put together from my own thinking and also talking with my other peers in the industry and all of these amazing nonfiction audiobooks that I get to narrate that give me a lot of great information. And one of the things that I've really been paying attention to is this idea of having a growth mindset as opposed to having a fixed mindset. And this came from a book that I just finished recording for Penguin Random House called Sell More with Science by David Hoffeld. Great book. And he has a ton of great information, but in particular, this one jumped out at me. And a fixed mindset essentially is having a mindset that says, look, I'm kind of stuck where I am. I'm never going to make any more progress. This is it. It's not going to get better. I'm not going to do any more than I'm doing right now. And a growth mindset is just the opposite of that. It says, look, I'm going to continue to learn and continue to grow and get better or evolve as a person and as a professional. And I can make changes in my life, and I can get from point A to point B. And I'm not going to get myself locked into a fixed mindset thinking that where I am right now is where I'll always be. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people get stuck in that fixed mindset. I remember when I got my first audiobook, it was probably 10 or 11 years ago. My wife called me when I was at the pharmacy, and she's like, hey, you should check your email. I think you got an audiobook. And in fact, she was right. I did get an audiobook. It was my first one, and I was very excited. And for sure, at that point in my life and my career, I definitely had a fixed mindset, because I was firmly entrenched in my brick and mortar business and hadn't really given a lot of thought to moving into VO and audiobook narration and podcast producing on a full-time basis. At that point, I was really just dabbling in it and trying to understand the industry. And I couldn't really perceive or envision myself being anywhere else than where I currently was at that point. And now, flash forward 10, 11 years later, I sold my brick and mortar pharmacy 4 years ago, as I said, and I do this full time. So back then, I had to pray about it and I had to talk to my wife about it. I had to talk to peers and colleagues and mentors about it. And I had to make that decision to take that leap of faith, but it didn't come with just throwing caution to the wind. I obviously had to put together a plan, and I built up my career over those 10 years and really challenged myself to have a growth mindset, to try to figure out a plan going forward that would allow me to at least do this on a part-time basis. And then ultimately it got to the point where I felt that I had gone as far as I could in creating the amount of work that I was able to create in the margins, that I had to make a decision. And ultimately, I decided that I was going to sell the pharmacy and go into this full time. And of course, I'm very glad that I did that. But I had to have that growth mindset to begin with. So I don't care where you are. If you're in a job or in a career that you're not happy with, I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow, but I am telling you to don't tell yourself that you'll never do more than what you're doing now. Instead, ask yourself, how can I do more than I'm doing now? How can I come up with a plan that's going to allow me to incrementally move in the direction of my dreams, to get to a point where I am living a life personally and professionally that is fulfilling to me. And I know it's going to take a lot of work. I may not be able to see that vision clearly, but I'm going to commit to having a growth mindset to make that happen. I can tell you from experience, I have been there and I did that and it worked for me. And I know it can work for you. So that's concept number one. Make sure you have a growth mindset for 2022. Don't have a fixed mindset. It will make all the difference in the world for you. The next concept is the idea of putting together an effective team. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, when they want to get started in VO, they ask themselves, how am I going to do that? So instead of asking yourself, how, why don't you ask yourself who? And I also heard this on a podcast that I was listening to that was completely separate from voiceover. I think it was a real estate podcast. And the host was saying that. They were saying, look, the real estate industry is really complex and complicated. And if you're looking to invest in real estate, you shouldn't ask how, because you'll go down a crazy rabbit hole and it'll be too complex and you'll stop. Rather ask who. Who do I need to reach out to who understands this industry, who can help me? And I think the same applies to pretty much any industry that you want to get involved in. So let's just use voiceover as an example. How about that? I think that's a really good example for a voiceover podcast. So instead of saying, how do I get better at my job? How do I improve my skills? How do I book more? How do I get started in VO? Instead, ask yourself, who do I need to speak to? Who do I need to have as part of my team to help me accomplish my goal? And when you start asking the question, who, it leads you down a completely different path. It leads you to start searching for the people that can effectively coach you, the people that can effectively help you market yourself on social media, the people that can help you create an effective website and a logo, the people that understand the business side of voiceover, what it's like to run a small business, the people that understand the tech side of VO that can help shorten the learning curve. So when you start to find the people that can help you, now you're not necessarily going to get free advice from them. You probably will have to pay them. You'll have to invest in their time and or a course that they offer. But it's worth it if it's going to help shorten your learning curve, because you can figure it all out yourself. The reason I started this podcast was because, 10 plus years ago when I was starting out, the internet wasn't as robust as it is now. There weren't as many resources available. So I had to figure out a lot of this stuff on my own. And I thought, I'm going to create a podcast so that other people can learn from the people that I interview and also from me as I continue on my journey. So this podcast is one of those resources. I'm one of those who should I talk to? And there are many, many other great resources, people out there that you can reach out to. And I'm going to talk about some specific ones in just a few minutes. But ask yourself that question: who do I need to reach out to move myself forward? As opposed to just saying, how do I get started? Or how do I jumpstart my career? How do I get bookings? How do I set up my studio? Ask, who do I need to talk to get answers to those questions? So when you change your mindset, that focus changes and it leads you in a completely different direction, which is much more productive. Doesn't mean you can't still go down the rabbit hole of how, but who is much more effective. It's going to shorten the learning curve for you. So from a team perspective also, there's a great book that I narrated. Actually, it's the book that I got my first earphones award for, which I was very excited about. It's called The Exceptionals. Great book. You can find it if you go search under my name on Audible. You'll find the book, Exceptionals. The author is Dr. Kumar Mehta, PhD. It's called The Exceptionals: How the Best Become the Best and How You Can Too. And in that book, Dr. Mehta talks about becoming exceptional through distributed learning. I'd never heard that concept before, but the difference between distributed learning and just having a team is that with distributed learning, instead of just focusing on your one specific area of interest, you actually branch out and you kind of look around at the different possibilities of other areas of expertise that you aren't an expert in, and then find those people and kind of bring them into your team, either literally or figuratively or ancillarily, if that's a word, as part of your team. And the example that he uses, and I think it's a great one, is you think of tennis players. So tennis players who are at the highest level, they still have to go out on the court and swing the racket. They're the ones playing the game. But after they win, when they win, you'll hear these champions inevitably thank their team. They'll thank their nutritionist. They'll thank their exercise physiologist. They'll thank their sports psychologist. They'll probably thank their family. But they have this group of people. Now, these tennis stars, champions, aren't experts in nutrition. They're not experts in psychology. They're not experts in physiology and exercise and nutrition. They're not. So what they do is they go out and they get people that are experts and they bring them onto their team so they can help them. And those ancillary areas, when they get really good advice and get good at nutrition and exercise and psychology and that level of support, that makes them a better tennis player because it supports them. So you can look outside of the industry that you're involved in and find the people, or even within the industry. Let's not say that it has to be outside the industry, inside the industry, but areas that you may not be an expert in, just like I talked about in that analogy of asking who instead of how. So I have a team, and that team is constantly evolving, but I have somebody that I work with who's kind of my tech expert. And he's the guy that I turn to when I have tech questions. He's the guy that helped me set up my home recording studio. He's the guy that helped me pick out the right microphone. He's the guy that helped me set up my effects rack so that my voice sounds really good when I record. I've had coaches. They're part of my team throughout my career, different coaches at different times. They're part of my team. I have a web designer. I have somebody who creates all of my logos for me. Those people are part of my team. I have courses that I've taken from people that are my colleagues that I've developed friendships with over the years that I can reach out to and ask questions of, and we can meet on a regular basis to compare notes and talk about our careers. But those courses that they offer and those people, they're part of my team. I have some accountability partners that I meet with on a regular basis. Those people are part of my team and I'm part of their team. So hopefully I'm part of your team through this podcast. And if I've coached with you individually, then hopefully I'm part of your team in that respect as well. And I also have my course, the VO Success course, and that can be a part of your virtual team, quote unquote. And these people and these courses and these coaches and these people within the ancillary industries like web design and graphic design and tech support, those are the people you want to have around you that are going to make you the best voice actor that you can be. Does that make sense? So look around, Make sure you've got those people that can help you. And I talk about that in the VO Success course, where I have the 5 modules and we kind of go through getting focused, getting coaching, understanding the business side of it, understanding your branding, and then understanding how to basically set up your home recording studio. So those 5 modules are done in that order because the setting up your home recording studio is the 5th one, because if you don't do the other 4, doing the 5th one doesn't really matter, because if you're not focused, if you haven't established your brand, if you don't understand the business side of voiceover, if you don't get coaching to understand the craft, then you can have the best computer and microphone in the world and you're not going to get a lot of work. So all those pieces are important. So the VO Success course, you can find it over at vosuccess.com, vosuccess.com. And that course is really designed for someone who's jumping into the VO industry relatively new or is fairly early in your career, looking for that foundational information to kind of help you have a solid base on which to grow your career. I'm biased, of course. I think it's a great resource. I think it's $249 now. Yep, $249. There's only over 2.5 hours of video content on there. And when I do individual one-on-one coaching, it's $150 for an hour. So $249 is a great deal. I do have a special that I typically run for my podcast listeners. If you type in voice 50, voice 50, when you check out, you'll get $50 off. So that knocks it down to $199. So it's a really good bargain. Just want to throw that out there. Of course, I'm biased and I think it's a great course, but you get to hang out with me and it's a lifetime course. So when I add things to the course, add modules, add information, then you're going to have access to it forever. So that is a resource that you can reach out to. And I want to talk about some other resources. And some of these people and these courses, I do have affiliate relationships with, and I'll let you know that when I tell you them. Some of them I don't. But I will tell you that everybody who's a sponsor of the podcast and anybody who I have an affiliate relationship with, they are absolutely people and or courses that I have already taken. I believe in. They're part of my team and they're people that I use and courses that I go back and refer to time and time again. So they've all been vetted by me and I use them personally and work with them personally. So regardless of the affiliate relationship, I would work with them anyway. They're amazing. So let's dive into a few of them. We have to understand social media marketing. It's a big, big part of what we do. I was talking to my friend Tawny Plattis, who is an amazing voice actor and narrator and is incredibly effective at marketing. She's one of my marketing mentors. She's helping me in that area. We've been able to help one another, and she's just a great person and really doing a phenomenal job in terms of marketing herself and her services. And we had a conversation about that, and she was saying, look, I tell people new to the industry that if you aren't in love with marketing, then this might not be the career for you, because so much of the time that we spend is not in front of the microphone recording. We're constantly marketing ourselves and, of course, auditioning and finding work and finding clients. So social media seems to be the best place to do that. And you have to understand how those systems work, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Understand how those different social media platforms work and how to best optimize them for you in your career. Tawny's a great person to follow. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn, of course, but she's very active on TikTok and I know Instagram. Also, I want to mention Tracy Lindley, a very good friend of mine. We kind of came up in the industry together, and she's a great expert in LinkedIn, how to effectively optimize your LinkedIn profile. And she has a course. If you go over to thelinkedinedge.com, thelinkedinedge.com, she has one for basically just understanding LinkedIn, but then there's a specific one for voiceover. So you'll want to check that out. And she's just in the process of putting together an affiliate program, and we've discussed it and just waiting to get the link. So before you jump into the course, send me an email at mlenzvoice@gmail.com, and I'll let you know when I get the affiliate link, because with all these affiliate links, you're going to get a discount. So you can jump in right now if you want, but if you wait, we can get you that link and you'll get some discount. I don't know exactly how much it will be, but Tracy's course, I refer back to it all the time. I have used her programs, her knowledge, and applied it to my own LinkedIn profile. It's helped me grow my connections, and it has absolutely helped me get work and connect with clients that hire me again and again. So it's a great course if you're looking to jumpstart or understand how to effectively market yourself on LinkedIn as a voice actor. So that's a great one to look into, and she's a great person to have on your team as well. The other one is I want to talk a little bit about casting sites. I've been on a lot of different casting sites. Right now, the place that I spend my time is on Voice 123. My personal experience with Voice 123 is I was on there a few years ago and I was having some success. I was definitely booking on a fairly regular basis. But then as I started getting more and more audiobook work and my calendar was filling up, it was hard for me to go in and audition. So when the time came for me to renew my membership, I just let it lapse to a free membership, which now looking back, I wish I hadn't done because the algorithms on all of these casting sites, just like the algorithms on social media, are based on your usage. Well, some of it, a lot of it is based on how much you're using it and how effectively you're optimizing your existing profile. So by not paying attention to it, I started to drop down. Natasha Marchevka and Catherine Toll created a course called Voice or V123pros.com. You can find them over at V123pros, Pros.com. Natasha's been a great friend for many, many years. Catherine's a newer friend. And they got together and they created this course that helps you optimize your Voice 123 profile. A lot of people think I just go on and I just start auditioning, but that's not the way to optimize the algorithms. There are certain things you really need to do in terms of keywords and how you split out your samples and making sure you fill out everything that you can possibly fill out on the profile so that that will raise you up in the algorithms. And look, I get it. Some people don't want to even think about using pay to plays. You've kind of got it's the principle of the thing. Why do I have to pay to have people have access to my voice? So you can make the decision whether or not you want to be on a pay to play or casting site. I personally made the decision to get back into it after I was able to take their course. And I did everything they told me to do. And I jumped in at a slightly higher tier because the higher the tier you go, the quicker you'll get the auditions, the higher paying the jobs. Again, fortunately or unfortunately, it is pay to play. So the more you pay, the more you're able to play. And I would suggest that you get to the highest level that you can get to that you can reasonably afford and then work it at that level. And then when you make enough money, you can jump up to the next highest tier, the next level, and do that as soon as you can and as soon as you're able to afford to do that. But I jumped in at a slightly higher tier, and after taking their course within, I think, 3 weeks, I had paid for it with the bookings that I got. So at the end of the year, they had a special, and I ended up jumping up to the next highest tier, and that was January 1. And by the end of January, I had booked enough work that I had more than paid for my membership for the entire year. And I have 11 months now left on the platform, and I've already more than made back my investment in it. So I'm happy about that. And look, you've got to have talent. You can't, it's obviously about optimizing your profile, but just like the tennis analogy, you still have to go out on the court and play. And you've got to be able to play at a very high level to compete with the people that you're competing with against in this industry. So you've got to have talent. And it goes back to the coaching and the preparation, making sure you're good at what you do. But that being said, assuming that you're doing that and assuming that you're working on perfecting your craft, then being on a casting site, it makes so much sense. If you're going to pay the money to optimize the platform, and it comes back to this general sense of understand the system in which you are working. In a general sense, understand the system of voiceover. This is a networked system. It's all about relationships, making connections, not spammy connections, but authentic connections with people that can help you, the people that you can learn from, people that might be able to hire you. It's a network system. Think of Silicon Valley or Boulder, Colorado. Everybody's kind of hanging around. Everybody wants to create the next great app. So they hang around and they have coffee together and they bounce ideas off of each other. And boom, next thing you know, they're off and running, creating some app that takes off and makes them a lot of money, and they have a great career. But they want to be in that place where that kind of thinking is going on, and it's not linear where they say, okay, I go do this, this, and this, and I'm going to create this great app and it's going to be successful. No, it's network. They talk, they bounce ideas, they throw spaghetti up against the wall and see what sticks. Same thing with voices, with the voiceover industry. It's a networked system. So overall, there's that system. Now there's subsystems. There's social media marketing. There's understanding how to optimize casting sites. There's understanding your tech and optimizing that. So these are all subsystems, but you have to understand them and make sure you optimize them. So the V123pros.com's course really helped me zero in on my Voice 123 profile. And the thing I like about Voice 123 in particular is that I get direct access to the clients. I've been able to make connections and relationships with clients. I've gotten work through them through V123. I've gotten work with them off of V123. So once you make the connection with the client, you're not just a number. They're not just a number. Voice 123 allows you to have that dialogue and that interaction with them, and you can make that connection and develop that relationship with them directly. So I'm very happy with Voice 123. We're in the process of developing an affiliate link with them as well. So it's, I think at this point, only for people that are joining. So if you're not on Voice 123 and you're thinking about getting on, then again, email me directly, mlenzvoice@gmail.com. Don't jump on until we get the affiliate, because there will be a discount associated with that as well. And take advantage of these discounts, because I've done that throughout my career. A lot of times I'll just wait, and I'll wait until there's a particular sale or there's a discount, and then I'll jump in. No sense paying more than you have to. You can be patient in this industry and get that affiliate link code, and it will get you a discount as well. Okay, so I really am happy with the way I'm booking on Voice 123. There are other casting sites out there, certainly, and depending on where you are and what you're doing, you may be finding that you're having success with another particular casting site. This isn't throwing shade on any other casting sites. I'm just saying that for me personally, Voice 123 seems to have been, for me, the best site for me to be at right now in my career. Okay, so keep an eye out for that affiliate link. I'll be sending it out via my email and also on social media as well. So keep an eye out for it. The other area is your tech, understanding your tech. Because once you've kind of made that commitment and you've gone through all the things I talked about what my course is about, you're going to get to the tech eventually if you work through all those other things. And my guy is Tim Tippett, over at votechguru.com. He's the guy for me. Again, there are other great tech people out there, but Tim has been my resource, votechguru.com. I do have an affiliate with him over on the Mike Lenz VO podcast page. You'll see a link that'll get you in, and will get you, I think, $100 or some percentage off of his course. He has a great audio course that explains to you in very simple terms the nuts and bolts of things like EQ and compression and high pass filters, all these crazy phrases that make my head spin. But the course really simplifies it, and also you can work directly with Tim as well. A great tech resource for you. So check him out. Check him out over at votechguru.com, because tech is really important. But as I said, it doesn't matter if you don't do the other things. But once you get there, make sure you drill down on your tech, because it can make a huge difference between whether you're booking or not. They want to hear that your tech sounds good, because these people that are listening to auditions all day long, they can hear that room tone. They can hear the quality of your voice. They can hear if you've manipulated it too much. So you've got to make sure that your recording space is optimal, that your microphone is optimal for your voice, and that you're producing the best quality sound, because oftentimes it does come down to that. They want to only work with somebody who has better tech than the other person that's kind of near them, but the tech isn't as good. So it is important once you get to that point. The other guy, Bob Merkel, he's a great friend of mine and a sponsor. He was the first sponsor of our podcast. And he's got VoiceAm over at voiceam.com. His demo player is, you hear me talk about it on the podcast all the time, but it's a great resource, not only just as a podcast player, not just as a demo player, because it breaks out all of your recordings. So somebody doesn't have to sit there and listen through an MP3 all the way. They can just look at the individual spots and play them individually. But also, it's a great marketing tool because you can actually create customized samples that you can send to people, and it comes to them in the form of the demo player. So it's really cool, and it's really effective and really easy for potential clients to use. So a lot of people think of VoiceAm as just a demo player, but it's actually a marketing tool that you can use, and I use it all the time. So check him out too. I know when you go to Mike Lenz VO podcast, down on the sponsor section, you'll see you can link on to the VoiceAm, and you get a 30-day free trial as opposed to a normal 15-day free trial. So you can hang out with it for 30 days, check out all the bells and whistles before committing, and you can do that for 30 days based on our agreement. Okay, so those are some resources that I know that I have personally used and have made a huge difference in my career and continue to influence and impact my career in positive ways. So I wanted to share them with you. And like I said, any of those that you're interested in, I know VO Tick Guru and VoiceAm, we already have those on the website. The other ones, Voice 123 Pros, I do not have an affiliate relationship with, at least not at this point, but I still think it's a fantastic course for you to take. Tracy and Voice 123, the actual casting site, I'll have some affiliate links coming soon. So you'll want to keep an eye out for those, and those will save you some money. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I just want you to really think about in 2022 incorporating some of these concepts into your professional and even your personal life. Think about things from a perspective of a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. You can make progress even if it's incremental. Continue to learn, continue to invest in yourself and in your career, and also make sure you're building an effective team around you. And that means an effective coach or coaches, people that can help you understand your social media, people that can help you optimize your casting sites, people that can help you drill down on your tech, people that can be there and you can be accountable to and for. Make sure you're understanding who all those people are and apply that, that concept of distributed learning to glean from them what you need to. Even if you have to pay them a little bit of money, glean that information and bring them on board as part of your team. Don't do this, as Mark Ryder said, great commercial coach, by the way. I've done some group coaching with Mark, fantastic commercial coach. He said, hey, man, you're the brand, but you got to build your team around you. And if you do that, those people can help lift you up and move you towards the exceptionalism and the excellence that you want to achieve. Okay. So I'm so glad that you are still a part of my team, hanging out with me here on the Mike Lenz VO podcast. Got some really exciting guests lined up for the coming year, and I'm hoping that you're getting a lot of value out of this podcast because I cannot tell you how much I enjoy coming together and sharing not only my own personal journey with you and some of my insights, but also the insights and journeys of my guests. And hopefully from them and from me, you're learning and it's helping you progress in your career. Any questions that you have, reach out to me, mlenzvoice@gmail.com. Go over to our Facebook page, Mike Lenz VO Podcast. Over on Facebook, you can check it out. It's a group. You go ahead and apply, and I will approve you. And you can go over there and get some insight about each of the episodes, and you can post some questions for me over there as well. You'll find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Just got on TikTok, so go look me up at Mike Lenz Voice. Starting to post some things on there about some of the lessons that I'm learning as I read these amazing nonfiction audiobooks that I have the pleasure of narrating. So look me up on social media. Let's make sure we're all connected everywhere we can be. And I wish you continued success on your journey. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Mike Lenz VO podcast. Head on over to MikeLenzVOpodcast.com for links and recaps of each show. Catch you next time on the Mike Lenz VO podcast.